tell me about your story. What is that equestrian mean to you?
So, Tom Davis, lived in Fremont, Indiana. Army veteran, 6 years. I was blown up in Iraq in 2006, lost my leg, broke my arms, broke my back, traumatic brain injury, all kinds of stuff. Eventually led me to pursue adaptive sports and got into the sport of hand cycling, paracycling since 2011, and two-time Paralympian in Rio and Tokyo, and just recently retired in January.
So how are you spending your time now that you're retired?
Started taking classes to get a degree in culinary arts, become a chef. I've always loved cooking, and now that I actually have the time to be able to do it and learn new things and everything, I just love doing it. I love being in the kitchen. I love creating new things and learning, and just I love it.
That's great. It's the newest challenge for you. Yeah. Would you describe yourself as someone who always needs a challenge?
Yes. If I would have done this, I probably would be, going crazy, or I'm sure I would have found something else to do, but
yeah, it's
usually not good when I sit around and don't do much.
So how long was your adaptive sport career?
Started in about 2011 when I first started riding and doing it in racing. It's been, 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And would you say you always gravitated towards sports, or how did that happen?
I've always been, I started as a runner, distance runner when I was just a little kid. I mean, I love playing football, baseball, and all that stuff, but I always just, my grandpa and my grandma used to tell the story of when I would go spend the summer with them on their farm, and I would just be running everywhere, like around the cornfields and everything, and then transferred into high school, college. I was always a runner after college, and then after I got hurt and lost my leg, the first time that I got on a hand cycle, it was like to be able to go fast again and just feel the wind and rushing through my hair. It was just incredible, and I loved it, and took up the sport shortly after that.
Did you foresee sport playing as big a role in your life as it became?
When I was a kid, when I was running around on my grandma's farm, I always envisioned I wanted to run the 10,000 meters in the Olympics. That was what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't know any kid that has that dream. Everybody wants to play football or basketball. I wanted to be a runner. I wanted to run in the Olympics. That's what I always wanted to do, but I never, saw myself doing that. When I was younger, I was definitely never as disciplined as I needed to be. And, I always loved running. I always be competitive and everything, but it wasn't until after I got hurt and I started riding and racing and stuff that I could see, I'm actually kind of good at this.
So how long did it take for, that Paralympic goal to take shape for you?
Well, it was pretty much right away. Yeah. I was trying to go to London in 2012, but I wasn't ready for that yet. So when I was still in the military, I stayed in after I got hurt for another couple of years, and I was an instructor, and I had my hand cycle and I rode it. But then when I moved back here, it sat in my shed for like 2 years. Mm-hmm. And when I got in the military, instead of running all the time, I got into lifting weights. So I got pretty big, and when I was lifting weights one day, and I was praying, and then just felt like God telling me to go get your bike out of the shed, start riding it and racing it, and do it to glorify me. I literally walked out of the gym, and not walked, but I rolled out of the gym and started riding.
What was your favorite moment, Paralympics or otherwise, in terms of your cycling career?
Tokyo was definitely awesome. I've always wanted to go to Japan, so just to be able to see it and experience it and compete there was incredible. I mean, Rio was so great. I mean, I still loved it. I don't know, there's always just something about every race that you do. There's always something that you take away from it.
When it comes to the Paralympics and just the Paralympic movement in general, from your experiences, I mean, did you have to learn about the Paralympics? Were you already familiar with it? You know, what did that learning curve look like?
So when I started writing, I just had that competitive nature. Like, I want to do this to my best of my ability. So when I started writing, even though I was just doing it casually and everything, I was still like doing the research and like, what is hand cycling like? And I saw like some marathon times of like guys in the New York City Marathon. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I want to shoot for. When I started actually training for it, that's when I started, doing more research, and I got invited to some talent ID camps out in Colorado Springs, and was able to start learning.
Did anything surprise you in the development process and the training and moving that direction?
The amount of like dedication. I always know you got to work hard and you got to make all these sacrifices, but it's easy to say, and it's easy to like see somebody else do it. Like when you watch the Olympics or you watch us competing and stuff like that, you see the people doing it, but you don't see what they do behind the scenes, kind of thing. It was 2015, and I had missed the World Championships because I got injured, and then I ended up going to the Paralympian Games in Toronto, and I ended up getting like fourth. And so, like, sitting there watching the podium, I sat there and watched it. I said, never again. And that's when I finally like buckled down and lost a bunch of weight and really put in the training time, and started going down south all the time and training and working with other people to make me better. And Turnstone helped out a ton. It was great. That might actually be one of my best moments, was actually qualifying to go to Rio, because like I could say I was like dedicated and all this stuff, but not until like 2015 did I actually like put in all the work and make the sacrifices. And then I went to the trials, and not only did I qualify, but I came out like I was the best. I was the fastest at the trials out of all the classifications and everything. So to see it all come together and everything, that was probably one of my best defining moments, I guess.
Where has your family been in this process? Have they been able to travel with you and watch you compete? And what does that look like for them?
They have always been there. My wife has always been there for me. Helping out, like doing all this stuff behind the scenes. They almost always went to races until COVID. She's always been there. Kids have always been there. They grew up with the sport, so